Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my brightly gleaming gift box, and as you can see it's a really good size. It's 12 by 12 cardstock, so that is the reason for it being superb. It is 8 by 8 inches, which is approximately 20 and a half centimetres squared, so it's a good size box. The main reason for me making it was because I'd bought some clothing for my husband, my children for Christmas. I know I'm organised and early, and you can always tell what they are. It's just, you know, a flimsy package. So I thought, well, I'm going to make a box that I can fold them up, put them in, make them in different colours, and at least then they have something half decent and half of a surprise to open. Plain base, patterned paper on the side, and then this decoration on the top. It's all copper embossed. I'm hoping you can see all the shininess going on. Copper squares underneath here as well, so lots of bling. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and it is really quite simple. Obviously the box, and then we're just going to go on and decorate. So I'm going to do things slightly different this time. I'm going with Very Vanilla as my base. And you simply need a sheet of 12 by 12, so 30.5 by 30.5 centimetres. And then we're simply going to score 2 inches on all four sides, which is 5 centimetres. So it's a real simple box to make. As I said, just, why do we keep going out of focus? What's going on? Who knows? So just literally for the base, we'll do that. Just pop that away. Oops. So we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines. I really do like making basic boxes, simply because you can decorate them in so many different ways. You know, you can just use plain and stamp, or plain and emboss. You can do like I've done and add layers. Yeah, there are just so many options, and obviously so many sizes too. So as you know, for our basic box, we simply cut these corner squares into tabs by cutting down one side and creating the wedges. And the same this side. And again, opposite side, do exactly the same. So you just cut down one side, cut these wedges out, and then it's as simple as that. Okay. Let me get rid of my rubbish. Mind you, if you saw the state of my floor at the moment, you'd wonder why I even have a bin. I've literally been throwing everything on the floor. Not on purpose, just seem to be missing the bin, and it's absolutely littered. But I've been preparing videos the last few days, and today is my filming day. And so I will clean when I've finished. But obviously at the moment it's a bit messy. So as you can see, I'm just going in with some tear and tape here on my tabs. I put a piece along this score line because it's closest to excuse me, it's closest to the edge, therefore it leaves your box looking tidier. I'll just do this one and I'll show you what I mean. So if we didn't put this so far to the edge, when we go to do this, if I'd only added adhesive on this angle here, this would just sit like that and it wouldn't look very tidy. And so I always try and do it close to the edge here, just so that, as I say, it has a fighting chance of holding the box together a little more sturdily and tidily, I guess. So I'm just going to line that up there. And it is just a basic box base, so I'm just going to go all the way round on all of the sides, doing exactly the same thing. Take the backing off. Again, if you want to use wet glue, more than welcome to. I use this for speed during my videos, but on quite a few occasions I have used wet glue for different projects, and I will be using some wet glue in some of my other upcoming projects too, so just for a change. Okay, so that is my basic box made up. Just get rid of my bits of rubbish there. So there's the base of my box, good size, 2 inches deep there, so that's a good size. Pop that to one side now, because I want to bring in my lid, and my lid is going to be, which I've not cut to size because I'm rather naughty, your lid will be 11 inches by 11 inches. So as I know this is 12 by 12, I'm simply just going to take an inch off either side. So I now have my 11 by 11 or 28 by 28 centimetres. And I've just realised I don't have any scrap card, so I've just grabbed some Mossy Meadow. And then back in with your scoring board on your lid, but obviously this time we need a shim, that's why I've just grabbed this one. And we're simply going to score this one at 1.5 inches, which is 4 centimetres. And again, oops, I'm just going to do that on all 4 sides. Just remember to add that shim so that it takes into account the thickness of your base, because if you were to make them both the same size, they'd just sit on top of each other and it just wouldn't work. So you need to add your little shim in there. So 1.5 centimetres, 1.5 inches, 4 centimetres on all 4 sides there. And then we're going to fold and burnish the edges and make it exactly the same as the lid. So again, going back in, cutting those 4 corners with some wedges. And the same this side. But I'm not actually going to adhere this together just yet, because I want to do all my decorating first so I can lean on the desk while I'm doing it. Okay, so that's that bit done. So now I have my top of my box here. It doesn't matter which way it goes, whichever way you have it is fine. I'm going with mine this way, so my tabs are facing, pointing top and bottom. So the first thing I need to do is to, oh my goodness, I've so not prepared this properly. So I need some, which I can't even grab now, a very vanilla layer. Well, as I said, I haven't prepped properly, so I'm going to have to cut this one as well. So my very vanilla layer is 7 3/4 inch by 7 3/4 inch. I do apologise. This is me. This is me today, I'm afraid. So 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, which is 19.5 by 19.5 centimetres. And that simply is being adhered onto the top of your lid. So snail, tear and tape, wet glue, again whichever you prefer. So this is literally just being a layer on the top. You just obviously need to make sure that when you put it on, all your sides are equal. So there's my very vanilla. Then I want to add my copper squares and then my cardstock squares. Okay, so my copper squares are 3.5 by 3.5 inches, which is 9 by 9 centimeters. And so I'm simply going to put some adhesive onto 2 of these. If you want to measure and make sure they're accurate, then by all means you can. But I just sort of eyeballed this to a degree. So I know that just need to shimmy that, shimmy that one up just a fraction. And what I'm lining up here at the moment is this side here. So they're lined up. I also checked that my gaps top and bottom were fairly similar, because this gap and this gap won't matter because these will then line up. If you want to measure, by all means measure. I don't, but equally don't have the time either. So this one now, I'm just making sure that this border will transpire to be the same size and that the top is lined up here. And I actually think that's not a bad effort. So let's just put the last one on, and this now will be lining up with the bottom here and this side here. So check that side's in line, check that the bottom's in line and that it's fairly straight. And there are my copper squares on. And then my Night of Navy, which are going over the top, I do in the simplest ways, because now I only have to worry about the margin of the copper and not anything else. So these squares, which are the cardstock squares, are 3.25 by 3.25 inch, which is 8.5 by 8.5 centimeters. And so, as I say, you just literally stick these on to the top, just like that. And the last one will go onto that one. And this is already starting to take shape and looking good. So the next thing I want to do is put my DSP on the sides here. And my DSP for the sides are 7 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches. And in centimetres that will be 19.5 by 3.5 centimetres. So just pop these on all the sides. I hope you're enjoying my sweet weeks. It's been quite nice being able to just use one sweet per week and create different projects. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. So just popping these 4 panels on to the sides. I love this paper, this pattern. It's just so, I don't know, Christmassy, and I just love it. Right, so line that one up, there we go. So now that's, I'll just get rid of that bit of snail there, otherwise everything sticks. So sides on, panels on. So I just need to decorate it. So I have done quite a bit of this ahead because obviously I didn't want to be wasting time with you guys heat embossing a million things. So I've got my dimensionals. So my 2 little baubles here are the Christmas Gleaming baubles, which I've just simply stamped in Versamark, heat embossed with the copper, and then used my Gleaming Ornaments punch pack. So we have 2. I've done my other 2 there, and now I've got tear and tape stuck to me. So they're just the 2 punches that come in the pack, so they are lots of fun. And all I need to do with these is simply add some, oops, knocking the tripod, add some dimensionals to the back. And then these, and obviously you can decorate yours whichever way you want. If you want to do the same, maybe you want to colour your, I didn't take the back off that one, so dope. I told you this was me today, really not having a very good day. There we go. So backing off there, that's done now. So I'm just going to tuck that one just under a fraction like that. It's not actually quite straight, but it'll do. And then again, some dimensionals on the back of these ones. And then obviously these ones get stuck. I nearly did it again. What is wrong with me? More tea is needed, I think. Or maybe something a bit stronger. So, pop those ones on. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could maybe add some twine and tuck it under here so they look like they're actually hanging. That would be a cute effect too. And my final pieces are my sentiment, which again I've sort of left like this. So I'm just going to give this a trim. Again, this is just the simple sentiment heat embossed in the copper again. And I have to confess to not having used, oh, that was very close. I have to confess to not having used my embossing buddy, so it is a little bit of a mess, but you know how I go. So there's my sentiment that I'm just going to put snail on the back of and pop it onto some more copper foil. And then, as you know, I don't cut, I use my scissors just to trim the excess off there. So that's that bit done. I'm going to bring that back in because this now needs to be adhered with some dimensionals. Pop that onto this corner. And then I have some holly leaves that I've also heat embossed with copper. So dimensionals again, lots of dimensionals on this. And I've just coloured them in with my blends on Very Vanilla. They're all on Very Vanilla to go with the DSP, although I probably could have used white with this one, but I didn't want to. So I'm going to pop this one on. And I just sort of went with sort of centre placement for the berries. And then this one will just tuck it under slightly to go there. The other one I've left here to show you. So I simply used my light old olive blend, and I literally just swished over this. I really didn't do anything too exciting or too detailed. I literally, as you can see, just wiped that colour over. I then used my light cherry cobbler for my berries. Again, just a quick bit of colour in there, and then I used my colour lifter, and I literally just gave the top corner where the dot is of the berry just another little circle, and it just kind of gives it, I don't know if you can see on here, it just gives it a little bit more depth, I guess. And then we did some good old-fashioned fussy cutting. Again, I didn't go particularly careful. This is quite a good shape to a degree, because you can just do Phew, bless me, oh sorry. You can just do these very sort of quick and sharp cuts to it. The edge of the copper, that was a little bit too close, the edge of the copper is quite thick, the outline, so it does give you a little bit of room for manoeuvre. And as I say, I literally just, I wanted to create those points like you have on the holly. So as you can see, I literally just snipped off where the holly was, just to create some of those sharp points. And then it doesn't take very long to fussy cut. Well, it does if you're a bit more precise. That's better. Oh, excuse me, it's made my nose run now. But that's it. That's all I did for the holly. Heat embossed in copper, and then just swashed them over, if that's even a word, with my blends. And then again, I just stuck this one on. I love this brightly gleaming sweet. I think it's really cute. And then this just sort of sat top corner there. And then I added some of my favourite Star Designer elements here, which I just added a couple onto here. And then I think I added 3 onto this one. There, that's all I needed to add. And then last but not least now is to just make the lid up. So back in with my tear and tape. And I'm putting 2 pieces on because, again, as I've explained about the edge piece there, but also this piece here, I will explain in just a second when I've popped this on. Last little bit. So again, if I was to not put this second piece on and just adhere that, what you'd have is that. You'd have that flap just not stuck down very well, and obviously that in turn could potentially cause the box to rip or to be a bit untidy. I'm actually going to take all of these off in one go, I think. Save me messing about. Last one. So yeah, so I do, most of the things I do is for a reason, and not just because I'm crazy and love tear and tape. So 2 sides of my box together, bring in my lid, my base, sorry, pop that in, make sure it's nice and tidy, and then I'm going to fold these 2 tabs in, fold the top over, and there we have our lid fitting nicely. I'm just going to slide that off and press that tear and tape down, and then pop the lid back on. Now if you wanted to, you can add some ribbon, that like I have done with my original one. So you can add some ribbon to keep the box closed, or you can leave it without. It's your choice. Hope you like it. Hope it's given you an idea for how to decorate some of your boxes for Christmas presents. And I actually quite like the contrast of the vanilla base. Just a little bit different, isn't it? Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all again soon.